Hello people of the internet, it's Amanda, and it's been a while since I've made a video like this, so I'm super excited. I'm gonna be doing a mini haul, unboxing, talk through video. If you've been watching my videos for a while, then you would know that I used to do this with Kimpori releases. I'm a huge fan of the group, but after, the things that had happened with some of the members departing, along with my Oshi Hirano Sho, so things kind of like died down a bit when it came to that department. But now, after new developments of Sho, Kishi, and Jin forming their own unit, Number I in their new agency, as well as new releases featuring the members both solo and as a group, I figured, you know what, let's just get to it, let's talk about it, because it's just an exciting time for me. They still haven't announced any other group activities or when it comes to music or performances or anything like that, so most of these are just in preparation of what they are currently doing as a new group. And I think you can expect from me more videos like this when they start releasing new stuff. So that's going to be another addition here on this channel aside from my J-drama, J-movie reviews. But yeah, I mean, just overall, I'm just really excited. It's just been over a month since they announced that they're gonna form this new unit together. But prior to that, Jin and Sho already released solo magazine covers, features, and online campaigns and all these things. So that's what we're going to be talking about in today's video. And I really miss doing this, so I'm really excited. And yeah, let's just get to it. So the first one that I'm going to talk about is Jin's GQ. Now this one is for the December 2023 issue. It really focused more on like getting to know Jin and some of his passions as well as his interests. I like that they kind of like tapped into that. He did talk about having vocal training and dance lessons and all these things in this feature, but it also explored his interest in cars, in bikes. They did a tour with him to a destination where he got to learn more about denim, which is one of his favorites, as well as and there's also talk about vintage clothing and all that. And I really like that about this feature, because again, it focused on Jin's different passions like driving, and just experiencing things firsthand that has something to do with his fashion preferences, and I really like that about this particular feature. And aside from that, he looks really good in the cover as well as in the other photos that I've seen so far in this campaign. They've also launched online support, online campaigns for those who aren't able to get the physical issue, because as you know, not all publications now just focus on print. They also have like online iterations. So I'm really happy when I saw that this was happening. And the idea of this is that it was also released just a couple of days after Jin's birthday at the end of October. So that's really awesome. And I don't know, I'm just really happy, especially since GQ, it has global iterations as well. So for Jin to be able to be in the cover of GQ, that's really amazing. They've been in the cover of GQ before as a group back when they were still in Kimpori, but this is the first solo for the Number I members to be in GQ. So pretty cool that it's Jin who had first dibs on this particular publication. Yeah. Next up is, so you guys know, and it's no secret here on my channel, that again, as I mentioned earlier, my Oshi Hirano Sho, I was pretty devastated, learning that he was leaving the group at the time, and I was just so like there's a lot of uncertainty as to what his next plans are. If you know the entire like thing that has been how it is when it comes to the industry and all these things, like there's an extensive, it's kind of like different how it is from just other celebrities moving from one agency to the next. There's some kind of like culture, subculture, or just this idea that had been going on in their former agency prior that made this move kind of like a little bit uncertain and all that. And so I'm really happy that after they decided to leave, there's some kind of like it still didn't mean that they're gonna be off mainstream media, and they're still pursuing things that are fit to their strengths and their goals. And So Elle happened, and it is Shaw's first solo cover after leaving his former agency and joining a new agency. And this was prior to him announcing that he's forming a unit with both Jin and Kishi, because at the time when this was released, Kishi hasn't joined their new agency yet. But it's such an exciting time to have him, again, similar to Jin with GQ. Elle has international iterations. It's exciting to see him in a cover of such a publication. Shaw has always been kind of like, whenever in his features, has always been asked about, you know, his goals when it comes to his career, his role to his fan base as an artist, and all these things, and which this magazine covered. He's talked about this new beginning that he's experiencing, and also this is in collaboration with Louis Vuitton. So all of the outfits that he's wearing in this feature, I think it's 9 pages, is all LV. They also did like a short online campaign on this, so he's featured in the Instagram, YouTube, and also the website of Elle Japan. But overall, what's most exciting to me about this particular feature is that, again, it signals a new beginning for him, similar to how GQ is with Jin, where, you know, like them having solo covers in these publications that have international iterations, especially in this very challenging time in their career of them starting fresh, is such an exciting kind of like prospect. Shaw talked about his favorite outfits from that particular feature, which he posted in his Instagram. He loved the blue ensemble that he was in, which is personally another one of my personal favorites as well. I think, as much as I'm not a huge fan of Monogram, he does look well in that particular look, and I love his hairstyle in that photo as well. Absolutely love that this happened for these two, and I can't wait to see what other covers they'll be in solo moving forward. I'm still waiting for Kishi's solo cover, by the way, but okay, now that we've talked about that, so when these covers were released, I kind of like wondered, you know, where's Kishi gonna appear? Is it gonna be NYLON? Other girlies suggested that it might be Vogue or Harper's Bazaar. And quite interesting that the next cover where Kishi appeared in as in his new beginning outside of their former agency and as a new member of Number I is in NYLON. It happened. We're still waiting for that Kishi solo cover, so that's still something to look forward to. But NYLON happened, and it's their debut cover as Number I. So again, they formed a new unit, and this is their debut cover as a group. This has 36 pages of photos, as well as a 10,000 character interview. Now, what's interesting about this global issue is that it's a first NYLON global issue that is bilingual, meaning the interviews are translated in both Japanese and English, not just for the Number I feature, but for all the other artists that are included in this feature. I've read the interviews, and it's so funny. It's so them in a way, but at the same time, it also talked about, you know, their plans as a new unit. They talked about, you know, the inspiration for their name Number I, which they've talked about previously in the YouTube stream that they did. They said that, you know, it's in line with their aspiration to be number one, but the I also sounds like the word I in Japanese, which means love. And then, you know, it kind of like also symbolizes, you know, being one with their fans being their only ones, and all these things. So overall, they really covered, and they've also, what I like about it is they talked about, you know, how this name came to be. Like, they didn't really have any other options. They had difficulty choosing it, but when Kishi came up with a name, you know, they told them about the meaning. So they went with that. I like that they were able to like elaborate more on that, with Sho saying that, you know, for him what's more important is what they do as a group and not really with the name. So it kind of like wasn't the initial intention of you know, having a discussion. So when Kishi proposed a name that felt right for them, they just went with it, and I really love that, because I was really curious if they had other options choosing this name, why they went with this, and you know, all those sort of things. They've also talked about, you know, what they want to show their fans moving forward, how involved they are with the processes nowadays, especially since they're working with a new staff, new networks, new music, and apart from that, there's just other silly things in the interview as well. Like, for example, them saying that Jin is kind of like the secretary of the group, and checking like email typos that these two are responsible for. So it's really just interesting. And I think the most interesting part about this is because the interview is translated to English. So it's definitely a lot easier. Like, obviously there's some nuances that wouldn't exactly be 100% captured by the English translation, but I think the translator did a really good job transforming like even the fun banter that went into the interview. And at the same time, like, you know, I still had to like cross-reference some of what they're saying from the English text from the Japanese text, but overall it was such a fun and easy experience to have them in a feature where there's an English translation. So I really love that. Oh, and I have to say, it's also a double cover, so this is what the back looks like. So cool, and it'll be like nice and just fresh. And I saw like the video campaigns that they did for this as well. Looks really fun. Parts of the interview, you know, said that they seem really nice, happy and comfortable with one another, and they've talked about, you know, how liberating the experience as well, and having a bigger sense of responsibility now with their activities as a group. And it's just a nice, fun-filled interview that also shows that their commitment, dedication with their new unit that they formed. And I absolutely love that they did it with NYLON, because a couple of months back, at least like I think over a year ago, Sho was on the cover of the Global Issue number 3. So this is Global Issue number 4, Global Issue number 3. This one still not wasn't bilingual yet, so just the Japanese text. But Sho talked about, you know, his goals at the time, like aiming for overseas, wanting to show his audience like a different kind of like worldview at the time. But when this was released, it was actually a very sensitive time, because it was a very sensitive time because it was after it was announced that he was leaving the group. And so again, as I mentioned earlier, a lot of uncertainty. But I really love that from this to his new unit with number I, NYLON was able to like cover that journey. I absolutely love this feature as well. Not exactly the biggest fan of some of the outfits here. Like he wore some Gucci, wore some Valentino in this one, but again, not a fan of monograms, so wasn't a fan of some of the Gucci outfits here. But just overall, I do feel like, you know, the interview itself is nice. And I'm really happy that NYLON was able to like capture these two stages of him being solo, and then also being with number I, being with this new unit, and then just there's a connection when it comes to kind of like supporting this new beginning for not just Sho but for all three of them. And yeah, I think there's still a lot to look forward to. Again, I'm still waiting for that solo Kishi cover. So they did a campaign for Vogue Online with the three of them. Just really excited for this new development for them. Do expect more content on number I from me in this channel, similar to how I did it with Kimpari back then. But yeah, with that said, so tell me down in the comments below, have you gotten your copies? What are your thoughts on these interviews, all these things? And what are your thoughts on Number I? What do you think is gonna be the vibe of their debut song? Let's talk it out down in the comments. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel and you would want to hear more from me, please hit subscribe. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope to see you again soon in a new one. Bye!